Amy's mad at me again. School updates. Emotional quarantine. How you doing? All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Hi, Abe.
Hello, 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 hello. My lovey. How are you?
I am, what day is this?
That's right. That's what day it is.
Yeah.
Where it's at. I got 2 podcasters and a microphone.
I got 2 turntables and a microphone. Where it's at. Yeah, that is where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty much.
Dear listener, we know you're here with us where it's at, and we are grateful for the company because we can't touch you
Hells yeah.
physically, but we're trying to touch you emotionally. This is a very emotional quarantine.
And because we're both of us very touched.
We are touched, and we're touchy.
All of it.
We're all the words with touch in them.
So a little update. I'm looking out the window of my office, and it's a wildlife panoply. I've got the everyone is going crazy. Rabbits and squirrels and owls and weird noises in the middle of the night that call the neighbors out in the middle of the night, and we still don't know what that was. We think it was a coyote. Anyway, the reason I mentioned it. Do what now? Eating beef jerky?
Eating a turkey.
Eating a turkey. No, it super sounded like a fucking turkey. It sounded, I don't know what it was. Well, we were worried because we thought the coyote had gotten the owl because it was a very weird sound. And it was pitch, but what?
Do it. I love it.
I don't remember how it went,
yes,
but it was super bad. So it was in the middle of the night. And the neighbor sends this group text, is your dog inside? We hear something. We hear an animal out in the woods. And so everybody's like, oh, shit. So we go, yeah, the dog's right here. He's with me, whatever. So then immediately, because we're all idiots, all 5 houses, bing, 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 bing. We all go out on our back. Like, there's danger outside. So we're like, let's go look. So we all of us run outside toward the danger. So, and then we're listening and then there's nothing. And then we're just giggling and hearing each other houses and houses and houses away. And then all of a sudden you hear this.
That's my favorite.
And you're like, what in the hell was that shit? And then we all silent. And then it rustle, and then nothing. And this went on for a good 25 minutes. And it was scary. It was weird. Because you're like, because you couldn't identify what it was. Well, that was almost as good as a year ago. Brian stumbled across what we think was 2 deer in flagrante delicto, because there was a whole lot of grunting going on and like a weird animal. It was like a weird, I was like, what the fuck? Is that how deer do it? I would think there would be like sparkle dust and, like little birds chirping. No, it sounded like some hogs a humping.
You have amazing animal sounds.
We really do.
Do your own song.
Well, none of them are accurate to actual animals, but I will say this. So I'm looking out the window, and we have multiple kookamame crazy cardinals. Do you know the deal with cardinals? Is this just a me thing, or does everybody think of cardinals and the afterlife the same way? Do you know anything about cardinals?
I don't, but tell me about your nature's playground.
Well, I've heard from several people, and I don't know if it's just something, thought maybe I had made it up, but I'd heard from several people that when you see a cardinal, it's the spirit of someone who has passed visiting you. And of course, I always seem to see a cardinal right after someone that I know has passed. And someone that I know has passed, and of course, now there's a cardinal doing something unusual. A cardinal sitting on my patio furniture, sitting. It, like not just like flying by. Oh, I spotted one out in the wild. When my friend Mark passed, God rest him, there was a cardinal that came to our dining room window and pecked on the window. Peck, 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 peck. Like a cardinal. Peck, peck, pound, 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 pound. Until I stopped what I was doing and said, what the fuck is that? And I went over and I stared out the window, and the cardinal made eye contact with me and then flew away. And it was the kind of thing where I was like, oh, that's some crazy ass shit that Mark would do. So anyway, so this cardinal came. So this cardinal, yes, he was definitely a pecker. And I actually have that one on video. Made me weep and weep. So anyway, so now there's a cardinal on the back porch. And I think that this cardinal they're crazy anyway, has made a nest of other cardinals, I guess, unless he's like cross speciesing it. He's got babies in my fucking bushes. So he keeps dive bombing the side of the house, and through the windows you can hear the all the crazy birds are here. So they're going nuts. All the birds and the animals are coming after us. And I started that long nonsense because as I sit here and look out in the green, lush, verdant beauty, there's a fucking cardinal. I can see him right now. He's looking at me. Anyway, hey, Matt, thanks for coming and planting your babies in my bush. Anyway, so you can hear the no, that's gross.
Planting his babies in your bush.
No, that's not the kind of friendship that we had. But he would laugh at that joke. There's a cardinal, and he keeps dive bombing the house with his little hungry, twerpy babies. Do you have nature's kingdom splayed out before you?
Yeah, so when we moved here, we had to put in a fence. And we have a neighbor who said, you can't put in a fence because you're going to destroy nature's playground.
You know what Robert Frost says?
He says, put up a fucking fence.
That's what he
says. Good fences make better neighbors.
He does. And the whole thing is a treatise, too. They actually don't. Like, it's a very sarcastic. Anyway, ha ha ha.
And two roads diverged and nothing gold can stay.
All those fucking things. And who's his other friend, the drunk who was in the street? Rage Against the Dying of the Light. I got him up on the wall. I'll find him in a minute.
Rage Against the Dying. Yes. So we put in a fence. But we did have an area where this specific neighbor watched a deer give birth. We've hence cleaned that out. We've made it less of a delivery room and more of a tree and planter area. So, wow. Yeah. But we have some interesting birds. We also have a bug zapper. So, Did
you ever find Ant-Man or the wasp or hornet in the bug zapper? Do you look to check?
I don't clean it out. That's actually a stew job.
that sounds good.
Dog shit picker-upper is definitely on his CV these days. Yeah, but I have seen crazy things like, please use the word coyote and not coyote. I've seen coyotes come out of, not here, but we have foxes that are running around. Stuart went to go rescue a dog. He grabbed a leash and a cookie and found out it was a fox.
Those foxes are fucking crazy. And if you have ever heard a fox cry...
What does the fox say?
I'm telling you, it is so frightening. I'm not going to do it.
I can't hear you.
Stop.
Try it.
No, it's terrifying. It's a shriek. It sounds like someone is being stabbed to death. That's what a fox sounds like.
Are you saying that it's not ring ding 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 ring ding 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 ding?
You know, I missed that whole song. I missed it. I was in the middle of, I don't remember what was happening in my life at the time. It could have been building this house. I don't remember what life event was happening. If you give me the year, I might be able to know. But I remember colleagues asking and joking, and I'm like, what even is that? They're like, I hadn't even heard it. It's like saying I've never heard Baby Shark. Like I hadn't even heard it to let alone know it. I'm sorry for the face, and I'm sorry, listeners. I know it's do. That one I know. But the other one, to this day, so I don't know what the fox says. I didn't even know what the joke was because I didn't know the song.
It's still the first thing that Ethan plays on every new device he ever gets, just to hear the sound. He loves it for some reason.
Is there a sound? Is there a sound? Like I was told the joke that what does the fox say, and then there's a sound. What's the sound?
Ring ding 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 ding. I don't know.
Really?
Nobody really knows.
Is it like who let the dogs out? Like that's how big this was, and I don't know.
I think they go over all the sounds of all the animals. You really need to listen to this song.
I know
all the animal sounds, and then
I know I won't. Knows. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Except for you, it seems that nobody really knows what the fox says.
It's terrifying. If you've ever encountered a real fox in real life, you think you're getting ready to get stabbed to death. You're serious. I'm not kidding. I see you. I see you on the camera.
So I'm showing Amy on camera that she and I we had another call last night with our college friends, which was delightful. And Amy remarked that there are people that she sees on TV that have interesting hair color because they're not able to color it. And I have very curly hair, but if I straightened it, I would be just as offensive as the people that she has seen on TV. So I held up one curl that from the base is a dark brown, it seems, or dishwater blonde. And then it gets lighter and lighter until you get to the end. So if I were to straighten my hair, I would be just as offensive. And I apologize for offending you if you are offended by my tricolor hair.
Yeah, both of those things are a problem. Number one, if they don't like it, they can look somewhere else. And number two, why are you apologizing? Because you look great. And number three, fuck and off. That's how that works. There was, I don't know what her first name is, and I'm going to say it wrong. Is it like Maria Villaseñor, whoever the actress is on Saturday Night Live? She's the first one who...
Isn't it Melissa?
I don't know. Could be. Probably. So whoever she is, Villaseñor is all I remember. And she's got that, you know, I kind of talk like this.
It's Melissa. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. So she got on there, and for her opening, we're going to take our pictures in our home environment. She sort of does an eyebrow look up at her bangs, which are speckledy, salty, peppery gray. And I was like, oh, look at you making it happen in the world. Because you know somebody could fucking FedEx Hertz a box of Clairol. But anyway, no. So I got on another Zoom call with a friend who I haven't seen in a long time. And sure enough, she had a stripe down the center of her scalp that was shocking. Shocking. It was not grays coming in. It was not, ooh, I can see that you've got a speckle. I can see, oh, I guess you really do color. This is a woman who I wouldn't have known she colored her hair at all. And the stripe, it was as thick as 3 fingers. Lay 3 fingers in the center of your head and picture that going from the front, a racing fucking stripe. Adidas, if they were all connected, white. Not gray, not speckled with regular hair color and like growing in. It was as if someone had taken a piece of tape. That's how fucking white it was. And I'm like, how the fuck do you keep up with this all the time? And she's way too young. And she's way too young. I mean, my hair, you can tell that I color it. Of course, I get these gray hairs that are as long as my whole hair, right? So that all of a sudden it's like, I'll see something and it'll look really light and I'll think, oh, that's speckled with the sun. Oh, fuck you. That's a gray. It's this long, curly, crazy. And then I get gray, particularly in the top section. But it's not, I mean, you're looking at it right now. It's still pretty dark.
She
hair.
has white hair. It's like she had blonde hair that's growing.
It is like fucking George fucking ass Washington white. Like, I don't even
genetic.
know. I don't know, man. I was like,
it's genetic.
What happened? It was very sneaky. And I guess I was kind of impressed with the level of sneak. And also,
and how much work she must do to keep that up.
And if you're willing to do that work the rest of your life, why haven't you like bought that Madison Reed for your home semi-permanent hair color? I mean, everybody knows how that...
They do not pay us, by the way.
No.
Not a sponsor.
And if you want to, send it. She named a company after her daughter. She could send us a box or some cash, a box of cash.
I would take a box of cash. I want to let you know I discovered how to make Amy mad at me. It was unintentional. But on this call last night with several of our girlfriends, I mentioned that, you know, in the state of Florida, there was a law passed in 2018 that took effect 2021 that was doing away with all dog tracks. So, which, yay, that's so great that you're not racing these greyhounds, you're not racing dogs anymore. Well, when everything closed, I guess the law could take effect in 2020, as my mother would say. 2020, pronounce all of the T's. So now there are 1,500 dogs in Florida that need homes because they are no longer going to be racing.
Who's with me? Who's with me? I can't even let her fucking finish. Who's with me? You know where this stupid shit is going. You know where it's going. You know, get angry, man. Get angry now.
Get down and get funky. So the reason I'm drawn to greyhounds, besides the fact that I think they're so funny looking and beautiful, is that this one had a great name. That's what drew me into this one. This one beautiful all black greyhound had the name Sofa King. Now, I don't know if you guys out there know the names of my dogs. If you're a new listener, you might not.
Let's run them again.
No, we don't have to go through it all, but I do
Yes,
want
we
you
do.
to know
Yes, we do. Run them again.
With my last name.
In honorarium. Go from start to finish.
Izzy Brilliant was our first dog.
Yes.
And the answer was yes, he was brilliant. Me So Brilliant, because, me so, she was the best. We currently, then we lost last summer Fairly Brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was not. He was very sweet. And we had Will Be Brilliant.
That's right. Optimistic.
You guys were with us at the loss of both of those dogs. And now we have, who do we have now? We have Shirley Brilliant, Normally Brilliant, and Frankly Brilliant.
That's right.
How amazing would so fucking brilliant.
That's I gotta say it's a great name. And that's all. And that's all we can appreciate a name without adopting an animal.
That is true.
Isn't that possible?
Yes, you are correct, sir.
You're not taking this dog. You're not taking this dog. You're not taking this dog. You're not taking this dog.
I don't know how I would get the dog from Florida.
When has that stopped you? You crazy, crazy, crazy woman.
I know. I can't. So one of our friends last night said on this Zoom, greyhounds are really weird. I have a friend who's got 2 greyhounds and they're so needy. I'm like, yo, it's your friends who are weird because they do all this weird shit. They come and visit them and bring their 2 greyhounds. I think, number 1, I think that's weird. And number 2, they don't leave the house, so they can't go out to dinner or go anywhere indoors with them because they can't leave the greyhounds. Yeah, it's the people who are weird, not the dogs. I get the dogs come with issues because they're racing animals, but I've got a couple of acres here. Why don't you run around those trees? Have a good time. I'll chase you for a little while until I pass out. So I made Amy angry by mentioning another dog. I made my father-in-law angry too, come to think of it. He said, can't you get a fucking fish and call it Sophie?
Oh, what? That's very good. I like that.
He's a smart man. He's wise beyond his 80-some years. So
I like it.
We are probably not driving to Florida to pick up a rescue and driving back to see if it even fits into our
Somebody
pack.
give me a timestamp. Somebody give me a timestamp on this one. Somebody give me a timestamp, okay? Because you told me that these dogs are available until 2021. So check it. Check the date. Check the time. You heard it here first, kids. This is when she said no.
This
is when she said no. Yeah.
3 dogs is a lot. And the one that I didn't want is kind of becoming my favorite. It's amazing how they, as long as you don't pee or poop in my house, we're going to get along great.
I love it.
We have had a section on our show called What Are You Watching? What Are You Playing? What's cooking? We've heard all those things.
Yeah.
We're going to consolidate them into a WCPO, which is watching, cooking, playing, and the O is ordering. Because let's be real, I've made it a sport, ladies and gentlemen, of watching my Instacart shopper when he is racing through the store.
Do you get the same one every time?
No, but lately it's just been young men. So I watch. I'm like, do they have this? And I wait and I watch the 3 dots and it says, Eric can't find your cheese requirements.
Eric can't find your cheese. That sounds like a sad porno.
Or a children's book.
Oh, gross.
Don't make everything dirty.
Yeah, that's me. That's super how I do it. That's my deal. I don't order from any place. I order from the supermarket and that's it. We've had pickup or whatever you call it. It's called takeout. We've had takeout twice and that's it. And both times from the same place.
But okay, so ordering doesn't just have to be food. Have you been on? We had to proactively get some things ordered, which we would have ordered anyway, but we just did it earlier for the middle one's birthday, which came and went. So we had some stuff sent here from that. But I'm trying not to create opportunities for people to have to go and do the thing. So it's frustrating because I keep seeing all these things that would be like, ooh, that's a great deal. That's a this, that's a the other. And then part of it too is there's an e-commerce portion in this where you have to have the money to buy the things. So I'm trying to be economical, but I will tell you that we oddly had the same dude. I wouldn't have known. He pointed it out to us. We had the same dude from the grocery store delivery come twice or 3 times because I happen to be there. I always like to leave him a cash tip, no Uber tip, cash tip. I like to leave him a little tip there on the porch where they leave all the stuff. So they know when they're coming. They tell you the thing. So I put it in an envelope. I wrote it down. And he was like, hey, knocking on the glass. Thank you. And I've been to this house before. And he goes, are you guys musicians? And I was like, what? Because the first room off our porch at the front of the house is the music room. And I was like,
that's kind of super creepy to be,
That he's looking in your windows.
And he's like, yeah, just it looks like you got a great setup in there, really professional. I'm like, oh, thanks, thank you. Get off my porch. It was very nice, but it's like, what? Ooh.
Can we request not Jimmy next time?
Well, and we've had a down the street neighbor has like a kooky admirer who comes by from time to time, and they've unfortunately had to ask us, can we check your security cam? And we had the high school come and do like a surprise happiness thing on the lawn, and we caught them on our security cam. So all this activity in the street is kind of fun. It's fun with cameras, gang. I didn't know it. It's fun. Also strange.
I have found joy in buying things and sending them to other people.
I can tell. I'm the proud recipient of your joy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here wearing a t-shirt, you guys, from my favorite TV show, which recently ended. And it is a fantastic t-shirt from Rose Apothecary. And those who know will be shedding the tear. And I'm just here to tell you that not only does the shirt fit and it's attractive and it's comfortable and stylish, it is like the high grade t-shirt one where it feels like almost like a soft little jersey blanket, where it's just super, it's like that Pima crazy soft with a little bit of stretch in it. It's just so good. It's super good. She always gets the best stuff.
As opposed to the one that I ordered yesterday, sorry, Stu, that you tagged me in.
Oh, I almost bought that for you, but I have a super tightwad policy, so I tagged you instead of just sending it to your house.
So I might have put it in a cart. I'll check out shortly. That says "Be kind," and then in tiny letters it says "of a bitch."
That's so cute. Giant letters, "Be kind." That's all you see, and then something underneath that might look like copyright 2020. Instead, it says,
or who said it?
Instead,
right?
It says "of a bitch."
Like it could have said Gandhi, but no, it says "of a bitch." So I kind of dug that. So I put that in a cart, and it will be.
It's because it's the perfect for right now, because you're leading with forced gratitude. You're leading with everyone's always grateful, but you're also you have to work to say, yeah, I know it's good, but here's the reason why it's good. Damn it, because we're gonna keep the smile up. Get your toothpicks to prop up the smile, because the moods are up 1 minute, down the next. I mean, and everybody in the house is on a different place with their moods too. So it's crazy.
So you have 5 people in your house.
I do.
How do you cope with your mixed moods?
Plus dog. Well, it's really challenging.
He's always happy.
It's really challenging. I honestly, he's not. The dog is not always happy. We actually had a joke last night looking at him, and my husband said, I think he's kind of done with this quarantine, because he sort of was looking at us like, you're still here? I mean, for a lab. For a lab to be like, all right, I'm a cat now. Wow. But anyway, because we're giving him a lot of time. No, I've got a high school senior and all that implies. I've got a high school freshman and all that implies. I've got a middle schooler. I've got a small business owner husband who is an essential worker going to an office with other humans every day. And I've got myself, a small business essential worker, working from home every day while the 3 kids are in their various stages of school. So we've had the senior last week on Friday have his last official class. So it's the bittersweet moment of this entire month would have been spent doing a senior project, which has been morphed into something else. But in terms of showing up to class, even the Zoom business, now that's done. It's officially done. Then we have the one down the hall from him raging because he has to continue showing it. If ever had to, feeling so put upon that he has to go to school. So we've got the one who's kind of proud and chuffed and happy and also kind of sick and sad, but really like, yeah, I'm done with this, man. I'm ready. Mentally, I'm ready to move on. And it's happening, even if it's happening in a hard way. So we're trying to acknowledge that and celebrate that. We had a wedding anniversary. We're trying to acknowledge that and celebrate that and find a way to, let's focus on all the good and the happy and the smile. And then we have this giant anger ball come rolling down the hill from everybody else has no homework. All the other schools are so easy. The teachers don't even show up. Because at our super swank ass bitchy school, evidently they figured out a way to make it even harder on the kids, according to the middle one. The youngest one in middle school is thriving. He always thrives. So I get that there's a way for this to work out. The freshman has said that, well, and I take his point. He does a great deal of music. He does chamber orchestra. He does proper orchestra. He has, and some of these are classes. And in order to get this done, some of them fall at odd times throughout the day. Long story short, you can't really do chamber music to live together with a lag or anything. It just doesn't, it's too difficult for them to work it out. So they've gotten crafty. So it means now, instead of showing up to class, he really does have more work than everybody else. He has to do all kinds of shit in advance, videotape it, send it in. He has to write papers instead of just showing up and doing practice. Like, there is no concert, so you've got to watch this thing or do that thing or go out and do service and create a playlist and then mirror the play. Like, it is on some level busy work. It's creative application of what they were trying to accomplish. But I get, and the little one has even said, through his frustration, he's even said, look, we used to be able to discuss the book together. We can't really discuss it in this format, so we have to read the book and then write about the book and submit those. So now I'm having to do more work than if I could just talk it. I have to think about it. I have to put all my thoughts down on paper. So I get it. But at the same time, can't we all be sad and depressed and pull up the covers over our face at the same time?
Or have a uniform emotion.
I'm
in your
working
home.
so hard to keep this happy bubble from bursting for the few minutes that we're going to celebrate love and happiness and come on
and birth and
bittersweet and it's great, and look, somebody's done a surprise, sent wildflowers to the house for you to plant a garden and all this, everything's wonderful, and now here comes the God. And you want to support him at the same time that you want to fucking throttle him. So it's difficult.
So I feel like what we do on here, which kind of is appealing to many moms, many parents out there, is, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but I was going to say we talk shit about our kids. But what we really do is we're honest about our kids. Whereas in the world, people really present, you could see it on Instagram, Facebook, a very filtered existence of how great everything is. And it causes depression in other people. It causes lots of terrible emotions. And what we've done has been super honest. And I saw Kelly Ripa, a video of her while surfing something. It said, Kelly Ripa cuts her own bangs. And I thought, I kind of want to see that. I'll admit
that's a mistake. That's a shocking mistake.
Right? So
you have to fill me in on this shocking mistake.
So I click on it, and it has nothing to do with her clipping her hair, but she said, she's talking to Ryan Seacrest, a show I don't watch because give me a fucking break. But she says to him, right now, I'm not talking to 2 of my 3 children. And I'm like, yes, say it loud, say it proud. You are stuck in the house. You all have different emotions. And she says to them, I miss my parents. Oh. I miss hugging my parents. I want to hug my mom. I want that. She has a great relationship with her parents. And I thought, tell me what that's like. Anyway, speak more about that. So she said, she's saying to her kids, I miss that physical contact. I miss that loving on. And you have your parents here, and you're a dick. Like she's really saying, I'm not talking to 2 of my 3 kids right now because all I want is that contact, and all they want is not contact. So thank you, Kelly Ripa, for speaking out and saying truth as opposed to taking your fine, skinny ass body with perfect everything else onto TV and saying, yes, I married a super handsome man and we have 3 perfect children. And yes, my daughter stole my, Uber Eats account and ordered all this food. But those are all like, ha, 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 we have money and privilege. No, right now, you're not talking to 2 of your children because they're assholes.
I love hearing good things about Kelly Ripa because we worked with her in my advertising agency days. She was the celebrity sponsor of a product we were marketing. And there was a lot of things that I learned I really don't like about this woman. So I'm so gratified because every time I see her, I flash back to, are you kidding? And I run that list in my head. And so I love hearing that she is a real person and she's normal and that she can be
hate her
sweet,
kids just
sweet.
Like we do.
She can just be an actual person because everything that you're saying is vastly different than I won't even get into it, but the heavy, Instagram-esque PR drippy bullshit facade that was written into a contract. So part of it makes you think, and to not even get into it, but part of it makes you think, is this her? We were watching the Beastie Boys documentary. We go back to it from time to time because we just fucking love them, and it just calms everybody down. And we love it. So, and one of the things that they were talking about is when they first hit it big and they were going on tour, and somebody said to them, okay, now tell us what you want on this tour. And they started saying all this stuff as a joke because they didn't think they would get any of it. And just because they're dumb people. And one of the things they said was, and we want a giant dick that blows out of a box, right? And of course, they show up to the set and there is like a 3-foot story tall dick coming out of the, and my husband's like, yeah, I went to that tour. It was there. I was like, what? So yeah. So anyway, so you kind of wonder, is this somebody else saying green M&Ms only or whatever the fucking thing was? But then you also
to
say
see if they read the rider, to see if you even read it.
It was so oddly specific. And we worked with a lot of bigger deal people who didn't have anything like that. Rachel Ray was another one who would get a lot of heat from us because it was just so eye-rolly. But anyway, back to you. I love the fact that I see her because I watch the Today Show. I've frequently said this a lot, and they're the next thing that comes on. So when the Today Show is still rolling to the credits, and then the next thing that's automatically recorded for like a minute and a half, it's Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa, and I've seen her sitting there in her bathrobe, with her little bird chest boobs poking out somehow because she's very ribby. So she sits there and she's like, hey, in the corner of her house by herself looking kind of sad. Ryan Seacrest at least puts on like the big kitchen with nothing in it. Yeah, I love these backdrops on Zoom. I don't Zoom with any regularity to know about backdrops. Are you a backdropper? Do you come up with these looks?
You're looking at my backdrop. No.
Well, it's a good backdrop. It's got you in it.
I did that. I'm on a committee at school, and they combined it with the PTO. So now it's like 70 faces on this Zoom. Totally ridiculous. And somebody asked for like, everybody's complaining school, online school, it's really just emergency learning. This isn't how online school was meant to be, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I said,
emergency learning.
Somebody said, does anybody have anything to say from the high school? So I turned my microphone on because it was quiet, like crickets. And
Holy fuck, I'm getting nervous right now. What the fuck? Oh my God.
You should. And I said, I have 2 high schoolers who are kind of thriving in this community as they say and do really dumb shit all day long. And to be able to see them take the reins of their education and own it and be responsible for themselves, it's kind of comforting, inspiring that I'm not raising dopes. And then my principal, who's on there, the PTO president, and the superintendent said, thank you so much, Melissa. That really helps. It's good to hear positive things. And then half of them started laughing. And half of them, I'm sure, were horrified by me. But I hit mute and I said out loud, and you can hear more of this on Brilliant Observations.
Oh, my God. I love it. And you...
I don't think I'm going to be invited again.
Oh, fuck them. Yes, you will. And you'll fucking have to lead it now. That's what happens. You reminded me actually of something. Yeah, you should get big eyeballs. That's what happens when you do good at shit. Then they call you twice. So part of the reason that it was so bittersweet with Rocco in his last moments of high school, I didn't think that he was phoning it in on a couple of things, but there were 2 classes in particular where he was skirting a C, which is totally unacceptable, right?
And not like him either.
It totally unacceptable. And we're like, I don't care that you've already been accepted into college. I don't care that there is no way that it's going to get disrupted now. You're not going out like that. You're just stop it. So trying to get that up, trying to figure that out. Okay, get it. And then without a whole lot of pressure, because he could, go, and now it's a B. Like, it was that close, right? So it was like, and even that I don't necessarily like, but okay. So, lo and behold, the last week and a half of school, without any involvement or awareness from either of us, he magically in that class starts getting hundreds on everything he turns in. Hundreds. Without any just because it was... one of his favorite teachers, although he hadn't really been doing that well in that class, he was just like, all right, this is how I'm going to close the loop. And doing things like, is the laundry free? I want to wash some clothes. Like, I just don't want to, can I do this? Can I do that? Started his exercise routine again. I get the impression that it's the reality of, how do I want to be as a person in this world, in this moment? And it's not about that. How do I want to be moving off into college? Do I want to have a stinky room filled with dirty clothes and below, my capability for something that I don't have to put in that much effort. That could be part of it. But the other thing that I honestly think is the real part of it is that the rest of the world forcibly slowed down around him. I think he needed that. Like I needed it, like we all need it. But it was such a thing where it was like there was such a 3-week full stop, not deep breath, a punch in the gut exhalation. There is no air. So that when it comes back in again, it's like, okay, let's reset. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I can do this. I actually like to be clean. I like to brush my teeth. These things.
I don't think it was as necessarily as conscious of a doing. I think it's just like you just said, that the opportunity was really given to him. Like for my kids, the opportunity was given to them to thrive. I don't want to say I checked out, but I'm not sitting on top of your ass while you are on a headset on a computer. Like, it's one thing, and I do get emails from the school, but I'm trying not to read them as much because, again, I have teenagers. So now's a good time. I also feel, after reading Pew Research and a Gallup poll, that everybody does too much for their children. They
don't know me.
Do anything. You don't do anything, and they're living in complete neglect. Or you're enabling kids to ask you once again, where is this? And we started a whole thing years ago in our house. Are you looking with your mouth or with your eyes? Which one is helping you find this in the refrigerator? Your mouth or your eye? Mommy, where is Mom? I can't find. What are you using to find it? And then I get, Mom, I used my eyes to try to find the butter and I can't. I'm like, okay, then I would love to come help you.
I have an uglier way to say it, and it usually comes out, I'm being honest, in frustration, but it comes out a lot, and it's still accurate. And the response is solve your own problems. So when somebody comes at me with something that they are fully capable of handling on their own, and I give them a couple of options, and then they're, I'm like, okay, you solve your own, go solve your own problem, solve it. And then the real problem with that is whatever solution they come up with, I have to be okay with. So I've had some shit that I really don't like, but I'm like, good for you. You did it. Thank you. Versus, it's very different when someone's coming at you and asking for legitimate help. That's not laziness. When someone's a fucking lazy.
Now untape your brother. And please put that back in the garage. Yeah. Thank you.
I love the opportunity, give them the opportunity to thrive. The little one, we've just been very, very lucky. Some parents have this for all of their kids, however many kids they have, and they don't really know what being a parent is because they're given these kids who parent themselves and just show up and they get the high mark, and maybe they need a little help, like helping them on to the next highest step. Like, that's not fucking help. Do you know what I mean? Show me the child who was burned the staircase to the ground. That's the child who needs your fucking help, right? So we have a mixed bag in this house. So to have the older one sort of, you can see a decision, in the result, you see that a decision was made to get there. And it was like, oh, and then in the middle one, you see a decision was made to forcibly check out and middle finger up to everybody. He doesn't put his middle finger up, but he does it in his attitude to everybody and everything. Like, I can't believe this. And my answer is I won't. So it's like, great. Now I get to deal with your shit. And then the little one who sets up his own schedule and goes and gets the A and then is helping other people and let me make some extra masks on the volunteer plan.
Isn't that third child, though? They saw your parenting of the other two. They know what's right to do. They're either going to...
Yeah, but theoretically, so did the other two. It didn't take. So, I don't know it's not like there was an example. I get it. I don't know. Here's what I know. Zoop, nothing. That's what I know.
I am surprised that there has not been a huge hair epidemic in your house. Your house is full of hair. We have friends that we saw last night, one of whom had his older sister completely shave his head.
Oh my God. You guys, you got it. We've had the chance to live with this for a good 18 hours now. It's not a joke. The siblings got together and said, what should we do now? I know. Why don't I shave your head bald? And the other one says, okay. And now we have a bald-headed boy who consented, he was not assaulted, who consented to say, hey, dope, why don't y'all cut my hairs off? Wee, what the fuck?
But he
Okay.
didn't go from short hair. He went from like curly locks of joy,
Oh, yeah. It was a big, old, moppy, floppy, gorgeous,
which was
soft,
fabulous.
bouncy,
Right.
television, Pantene commercial style.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Like
now
your
you
oldest.
missed it fucking clean.
That's like, oh God. And then another one who shaved just the sides. Not
That
good
one's
enough.
even worse and better. Then we had the other ones who said, "Hey, dope, our friends just shaved their heads bald. What should we do?" I know. And so you get the college kid, looks at the high school kid and says, "I'm going to shave just the sides." So he looks every bit like the David Spade movie TV villain in every bad comedy that you've ever seen. The sides of his head from his temple all the way behind his ear and down to his neck is now skin. And then everything else is this weird, coarse, Italian bullshit, shagadelic, mullet, craptastic, Zubaz pants wearing horror show that is fucking hilarious. This is the kind of stop and stare magic that you would find in a 7-Eleven at 2:30 in the morning on a Wednesday night. That's how good this fucking look is. And he wears a hoodie. So of course, it's just
with cut-off sleeves. A hoodie with cut-off sleeves.
my God.
Look, so here's my question. Do they feel like, I mean, if she had shaved higher, it would have been a mohawk, but it's not. It's
No,
lower. It's
no.
just, here are my ears. Everybody
Right.
look. Or as
It's-
you said,
yeah.
skin.
Yeah, it's what would it be called? It's Thorndale Acres Trailer Park. Right? That's I'm making up a trailer park name. Thorndale Acres. And then here's your superintendent of Thorndale Acres. Here he comes.
So my
it's
question
Bobby.
is, did they know in their hearts that they are stuck in the house long enough for shit to go back to normal? Are they hoping to stay quarantined until hair grows back? Because my kids had an incident yesterday too, which left my son turning violet. My daughter colored his hair, but she didn't really only get hair. She got neck, forehead, cheek, face. He was purple. He was definitely violet. It was bad. So he showered 9 times yesterday to try to get
9 times.
9 times
9
to try to get the
times.
purple off his face. And but that's something that they could still leave the house, and if the sun hits them the right way, you'll say, "Oh,
They've
look."
got dark hair. So when you go blue, when you go purple, it's sort of like, oh, is that fun? Is that
It's
quirky?
a hint.
When
right.
you've got fucking skin where there should be hair, that's like,
No,
are you
skin.
ill or are you illin? Like you just do either one. Something ain't good. What you doing?
Skin.
Skin.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not. We should sign a petition for that because lately I've seen petitions for everything online. Please take a moment and sign my petition. What petitions have I seen? Well, I need my salon to open. Can you sign a petition to open my salon? I'm not actually going to go ahead and do that. I'll do the one to re-release all the koalas back into the wild. I'll do the one but I don't think, here, free Netflix. That was one of the petitions that I saw. Netflix should just give it away. They shouldn't make it necessary for people to pay for their product because everybody's stuck at home and it should be free. And I read it and I had to read it again because
Because you
I
wanted to
didn't agree.
kill? Because you
I
wanted to
didn't
kill?
agree.
And you thought if I read it again, I will quelch this desire to kill. I
Yeah,
swear. I've already told you, we have 2 small businesses in our house, and you are no stranger to the small business in your house. And these petitions, these sign-ups, I'm sending a letter, and we're connecting friends. And the thing that they're actually doing is poaching for your email address or poaching for your, it's tough to want to, it's reasonable to want to market and to want to have business happen during this time. But when you try to hide it and masquerade it in something else, that's what makes me insane. And this notion that the one that you mentioned that made me crazy is Netflix should give it away for free. Something that legitimately costs money all the time magically shouldn't because we're all sad. How does that fucking work?
because we're all sad.
I mean, if that's the...
You know that starting Friday, this is released on Thursday. Tomorrow, dear listener, Friday is the beginning of Mental Health Month. Just in time.
So we fucked that one up.
Boy, are we just in time for Mental Health
Too
Month.
bad. Yeah, they should move that month to another month.
Or last month? I don't know. Or every month. Why is it just a month? Because we've been in quarantine for more than a month and we're all kind of a little stir crazy.
Everybody knows everything all the time. They want to tell you all the fucking time.
I did a little baking yesterday.
Did you? Was it
Yeah, I
banana
made-
chocolate bread loafs?
I want to make that today.
Was
Because
it
my
slutty
bananas are turning.
brownies? Slutty brownies?
It was not. No. This was per request of my spouse who,
Oh.
yeah, he likes and grew up with cupcake cones. You know, those joy cones that you pour batter into and they
I gotta say,
explode?
I only knew about them because of you. I had never even heard of such a thing. I love it. And when you described it to me last time, I thought it was the most brilliant. And I've never made them. Ha ha. So tell us
They are
again,
Sofa King cupcake cones.
I think people don't. I think people really don't know what they are. So give us the 2-minute lowdown on what the fuck
I
they are.
pour the batter into these cones, these not waffle, sugar. What are they?
I think they're called sugar cake cones, and
Cake
they're
cones.
the ones that have like a flat bottom, and you would get them when you go to Mr. Softy ice cream truck, or when you're in a buffet line at a salad bar, and they magically
more
have an ice
buffets.
cream thing. No, just in your life, just to visualize what
salad
it
bars.
is. You know what I mean?
It's the end of an era.
Okay,
I know.
and we're back.
So,
I can't even use the salad bar as an analogy anymore. They've been wiped from my brain. Big Brother says no more salad.
At least our kids will remember salad bars. And
No,
cheese
they
bars.
won't. No, they won't. You know, and is it really that bad? To be fair, they used to have salad bars. The whole thing is, it used to be like in a boat. You would go to somebody put like a sailboat in the middle of their restaurant, and that was the kitschy thing. You would go up, and there'd be like 2 kinds of lettuce, chickpeas, and like 4 dressings. One of them French. You know, and that was the exciting
this
part
true?
of the meal. Yes, you've never been to a shitty salad bar before they turned into good things. You were
No.
alive in the 80s. Don't act like you don't know. Don't act like you don't know. And they would
don't
serve
know.
it to you on like those metal pewter weird cold plates, which were horrible because you wanted to have a cold plate.
Were they shaped like leaves of lettuce?
No, but sometimes yes. Some of them look like that Paul Revere bullshit, but then other ones did look like a cabbagey leaf. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about your K-cup can.
So the goal is Stuart eats really well. He eats meat and vegetables, and
Yeah, he
he's
does.
losing weight, and it's
yeah,
annoying.
yeah, he does.
And every once in a while, kind of like all the moods in the house, he loses his shit and eats everything else, exclusively everything else. So he said, I saw that you ordered cones. Yeah, you ordered ice cream. Oh, well, do we have cake? So I made cupcake cones last night, and you frost them and you put lots of fun stuff on top of like sprinkles and those little non-Pirelli dots. All
So
that stuff on top.
the idea here is instead of making a cupcake, you use the ice cream cone
Yep.
as the cupcake holder, and you
Yepper.
bake the dollop of cake batter inside that cone, and somehow it comes out of the oven not burnt, but like a delicious, crunchy, cupcakey frostingness. Right?
You frost it, you decorate it, and then you shove it in your pie hole. And the fun part is, unlike a cupcake where once you eat the top off and it's just cupcake, you're still standing there with a knife after you've decorated it, eating the top off, and then you refrost the next layer. And then you just eat the next layer, and then
You
you
just blew my
refrost
mind.
the next layer.
You just blew my mind. You just blew my mind. My mind is blown. You just fucking blew my mind. I
So
love
you
this
take,
shit.
you eat the top off, you refrost it, and then you dip it back in that plate full of sprinkles, and you're like, oh look, a smaller, cuter cupcake cone.
Aw,
And you eat
and
the top
we're
off.
back. You-
And you do it again and again until you've eaten all 24
Oh,
of them.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
love it.
we've put on a few pounds in our house. We've put on a few pounds.
I super have put on pounds, and I put on pounds of survival. This is not an issue. I'm not concerned, and I'm super. I have won in the way that I am not playing the game of survival. When we come out of this, in whatever way we peek out of the doorway, because it's not like we're gonna go boo-boo, and then we make our grand entrance. However,
Yeah.
we dip the toe back into civilization.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care if you're survival mode, or if I was able to jump 6 levels of my lifestyle because I journaled every day, and I did exercise, and I ran, and I did that marathon, and I Marie Kondoed my house, and I ate all the healthy foods, and I've, beans, and whatever the fuck that you did. Bring it. I think you're great, and I will still be friends with you.
I will not.
And you know what I did? I watched a few things and I took baths and I walked in the woods and I cried and I binge ate and I did what I fucking had to and what I needed to every moment. And that's how this fucking worked. And we're going to begin again wherever I am. And guess what? If you want to judge me for it, you can get right behind me and fuck the fuck off, because I'm not interested in that. I'm not judging myself. So I know what I needed to do to get here. And if you can't get with that, who the fuck are you? Is that answer?
See also, go fuck yourself, right? That was your
and quote. Also see also, go fuck off. Well, it's just, I mean, I keep seeing those things circulate where everybody wants to say some teachers don't have a house that they want to put on display, a background of a house that they want to put on display for all X number of students that they have. Some kids don't want to do that. Some people are food insecure. You don't know what's happening in someone else's home on any given day. And you certainly don't know where they are on the spectrum of mental health, of physical health, of financial, emotional health of this whole time. Everybody, and as I've just described, everybody's on a different place. Like every 10 minutes, even in the same house, you can be in a different place.
It's a roller coaster.
Well, it's just the thing that is really hard for me to take. I'm not in the judge-a-thon with other people. I'm not. And if they are doing great, I think that's great. And if I'm doing shitty, but I'm still alive, I think that's great. Like everybody gets a great from me. I'm the easiest teacher in the world when it comes to grading this fucking shit. Because I'm not putting us all on some sort of marathon race of who can get the happiest fastest. Fuck you. I'm not doing that. The thing that I can't about so I don't really care. I don't take a lot of. It doesn't keep me up at night worrying about what other people are doing or what I'm not doing. That's not on my deal. What I do get crazy about are people who have situations where they are the least affected by this financially, like whatever, the way that their job, life, whatever works, they are the ones who are happily, I should say, and luckily bored, right? So they have a lot of time and they have the stress of the situation without financial stress, without, they've still got a job now and they've got a job to go back to, and maybe they don't even have to work right now and they're getting paid. Like there's a lot of things where, we have people who
That's dreamy.
They're still dealing with the stress of a global pandemic where people are dying.
Right, I can't leave the house. I have family.
I'm not in any way belittling the stress of the moment, but I can say there are additional stressors that they don't have. And so I'm sitting in a 2 small business household where I need both hands, and come next week, I'm going to need a third hand to count how many assistance, loans, packages, grants, everything else that we have applied for, thank God successfully received, and are continuing to do just to try to keep the thing going and whatever, right? When I see people posting shit about how teachers are saints because they're just now realizing that public school kids don't have enough to eat, and that why is it the school's responsibility to feed these kids? And I'm like, I can't scroll past you fast enough. Let me get away from you. And then the next thing that I want to hear is how everybody wants to talk about how these business loans are working and aren't working and whose fault it is. And if the government is stupid enough to create just on and on and on, and how it should be spent and how it should be paid back and who's getting it and who's not getting it. They haven't applied. They don't know what the fuck it is. They don't even know what a small business is. So, and that's my other favorite. Some businesses should just fail, right? Yeah, we should just let them go. If they can't hack it, it's their job to, if they can't hack it, if they can't figure it out.
Who are these people and why are they in your scroll?
Don't you know how commerce works? That's how commerce works.
Capitalism. That's capitalism.
I love capitalism. People who want to say, guess what? You can just let businesses open. Why are you so worried about businesses opening, right? If you don't think it's safe to go, then just don't go. And I'm like, right. Because when the government says your business is okay to open, and magically now, because they were bitching and moaning about people who wouldn't go back to work because they were, air quotes, doing better, not working, than going back and working at their job where they didn't get, where they were getting such a low wage that it was not livable.
So that extra $600 a month that they're getting is better than their salary.
Yeah, that plus the unemployment plus the living wage plus the check means if I go back to work, I have to give all this up, and I can't do that right now. So I'm not going to go back to sweeping whatever I was sweeping, and people being outraged at this. And I'm like, welcome to the party, pal. But the biggest issue is when somebody is out there saying things like, you don't have to do it. Like, gang, when your workplace is when everybody it's like a holiday break. When we're all shut down, then we're all shut down. And that means that you can't go to work, and that actually helps the people who can't go to work. When you're open, you have to go to work. And what happens if you have to go to work and you can't go to work? You see the problem? Like I don't even know.
There's also the answer of then don't go to this place of business and give them money. Well, they got their loan. They're no longer receiving money because they're open. And if you are not patronizing these places and they're not making any money and they have overhead, they're dead. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the hair. Let's make it practical. You mentioned the hair salon where your darling daughter on occasion has worked. So let's say
she does not dye everybody to be an Oompa Loompa.
Let's say that next week, like the state of Georgia, which is open now, let's say that hair salon is open because bowling alleys, tattoo parlors, and hair salons are A-okay to be open in Georgia right now, but not the state capitol. You can't take a tour of the state capitol because the governor's mansion is closed because it's not safe. But it is safe to go to a hair salon
and stick your hands
your hands in someone's face and stand there and do that. So let's just say that in your state, magically, makeup land, it's open, and now she has a job to go to, so she can either lose her job and not have any employment. If she's the business owner, she can choose to keep it closed and lose her business, or she can somehow open, put her health at risk, put her employees' health at risk. She can struggle to try to figure out how to stay open with people who maybe are coming or aren't. It's
a mess.
It's not for people who sit in a position of financial stability and privilege, who have zero understanding of running your own small business. Don't come at me with your epidemiological outlook of economics in this uncertain time. You are as good as being on a government dole by having a big old corporate job that is not going to go away until your giant corporation decides to somehow fail.
Doesn't this fall into stay in your lane? I would prefer people to not give opinions on things they just don't know about. Even our friends in our lives, who have opinions about facts about this pandemic, about this virus. I mean, that's your opinion, and you should definitely do what's right in your mind for you and your family. But in reality, you don't know anything right now because they don't know anything. They don't have enough data to give you definitive answers on anything. And that is kind of what's terrifying, that you don't know anything.
Well, and I want to come back to a point that you said earlier, because this is coming from multiple sources and some are blood relation. And it really comes to, in this moment, I think what is becoming amazingly obvious. For some people, this became amazingly obvious in the lead up to the 2016 election in the United States, when a similar situation happened, in that everybody's subtext of values is now on the surface, because every single thing that you're saying really shines a light on what you hold dear, on the hierarchy of needs, on what you think is the most important thing right now, and on how in touch with, aware of, close to, connected to, compassionate to other people's situation you really are. And when it comes right down to, if your whole situation is A-okay, and the only thing you can see is past your own nose too, so everybody else must be A-okay too, or I didn't even realize kids don't have food, and P.S., why is it suddenly my tax's job to make sure kids have food?
That's not suddenly, but okay. Right.
Yeah, so it's like,
right.
Scrolling. My point is, having all that stuff, it's just, there comes a point where even if you weren't compassionate for others, even if you felt like commerce was a fair foot race, capitalism was a fair foot race up until now, here's a spoiler, it's not. Even if you thought it was, even if you were blind to your own privilege and advantages, you know what? We all are to some point. And if this is the moment then you're getting woke or whatever it happens to be, okay, that's fine. But guess what? When the realization comes and your first answer is, and fuck that, and your first answer is to be the mayor of the city of Las Vegas and say,
Oh my God.
and say we would like to be the control group because we have people who would rather work equals die. We have people who would rather die going to work than stay home and gamble that they're going to have a job to go back to later. We
I
would
like
rather
use
be
the
that
word
people.
gamble in Vegas.
Yeah,
How is she still in any sort of position? I'm so sorry, dear listeners, that we're going on and on about politics, but you know what? This is kind
It's
of where
not
you
politics.
live.
It's
And
not
this
politics.
is where you are. And
This
is
isn't
what we're all
politics.
dealing
You've not
with.
heard, but this isn't politics. This is absolutely not a political situation. This is value statement. And you can be a conservative and you can be compassionate and you can have science on your side and you can have the best interests of people's health on your side and you can come up with solutions that match that political point of view and you can be a bleeding heart liberal and same, right? This is values. This is people who say and they're just very overtly now saying the thing that underlies their core belief. Right. And that is
top.
I think because you're effectively saying your life is not valuable to me. Making sure that you have the basics. I don't think it's my responsibility to make sure you have the basics to get what you need. That's what you're saying when you're saying that's a viewpoint. That's a subtext and a viewpoint.
We are all responsible for each other. It is absolutely crazy to say that because you know what? It's going to turn and that family and those people are going to be in desperate need. And luckily there are people like us who feel that we are responsible for each other and we really should do everything we can to provide breakfast and lunch to kids who got it and to look. We are, in the end, I feel confident and safe enough to say, we are good people. I don't know how on your Facebook feed you have people who are fucking crazy. Have you not gotten rid of the crazy from your feed?
No. And if anything, I don't call them truthfully crazy. I have some people, high school friends. I have some family. I have some folks 2 and 3 removed, work colleagues, what have you. And you know what? I don't engage. But I really appreciate seeing the point of view from people who I know have been educated to a point, seeing the point of view from people who I know work in positions where they put their life at risk every day and now have become so jaded to what I see as the world. So they're giving me points of view. I'm not going to watch OWN. I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch like this whole notion of if you're getting your information from just one source, that's not good enough. So I do try to keep the eyes open. But the thing that I find infuriating is when the idea that we are all human and that the enemy kills 100% of humans. So it's like it's coming at us. It's if we don't approach this thing logically, if we took zero measures whatsoever, if we took zero measures globally, we would be overrun. It's just not a question. So all of the measures that we're taking are helpful. And so you can get into a conversation, which we're not, about, okay, what measures to what degree, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, we're all humans. We've seen Hollywood movies. When the invader comes from outside the planet and attacks us all equally,
we need to unite.
We band together. All the countries band together and we defeat the alien. In
That's
this
only
case,
in the movies.
It's only in the movies. In this case, everybody in this zip code bands together and finds money for tests. And then everybody in that zip code magically dies because they work as bus drivers and grocery clerks.
All right. So the point is we should be united as victims of or potential victims of this virus, as opposed to still holding a them and us theory about who should and shouldn't get money and who should and shouldn't get testing. And look, my white overprivileged parent got in a line with no symptoms and no reason for it and got a test in a drive-through. Why? Why? Oh, I know why. Don't ask, don't engage. You know why. A little histrionic. You know why. So there are tests, they are out there, and we have to see it all as an us, and the them involved in the us against them is a virus. Is that terrible, stupid graphic they keep posting on every TV show. That is the them. We, the us, the we are people and humanity and society, and good Lord, people, We are the we. We are the us. The them is a virus.
Let's
all band together against them.
And we are. And I think the important thing in all of my bitch is I spend most of my energy each waking and frankly sleeping moment. I spend most of my energy working to be positive. And by that I mean, if I can be doing something, when I really start to get into a funk, I feel like it's the spiral. I'm heading toward the earth. I gotta break this fall.
That's why I text you.
I'll do something for somebody else, right? Because that's the fastest way to pull myself out of it. I will do something completely for somebody else. And I hate to even talk about it here because the reality is I do it and I try not to get caught, right? So I try to do those things and just do it for myself. So I'm selfishly volunteering time and doing efforts, and I'm not telling other people about it. I do it because I know how good that makes me feel to do it. So it's like, okay, so I'll do that, right? And then the other thing is to really watch the content that goes into my face. I've stopped watching the evening alerts. I've stopped watching some of the, I don't get news in real time. I filter it later. I look through, I try to find what's actual news. I ignore all the stuff that is just conversation that's adjacent to the actual facts. It's difficult to get the facts, but I've tried to focus on them. And then I go out of my way to find happy stories, good stories, positive things. And those are the ones that I will take the time to through the megaphone. I want to share it. I want to put it somewhere else.
And you still haven't watched Dave. Is that what you're telling me?
We did. We watched half an episode of it and laughed. And then a child came in and we had to pause it.
Okay,
and the biggest funniest thing is he turned and looked at me. Brian and I were both sitting on the sofa, and he turned and looked at me and he goes, "So it's a quirky Jewish dude tells dick jokes?" And I said, "Yeah, that's the thing. That should have been the thing on Netflix. That's the little caption."
Yeah. Quirky Jewish rapper who tells dick jokes. Yes.
Yeah. We did. We watched 2 episodes. So we'll get back. We'll do it.
It is so funny and is so endearing, which really surprised me. Because I've heard his music. It really surprised me how endearing it was. So yes, fill your face with joy.
Right.
And
find the
cupcake
rom-coms.
cones.
Find the cupcake cones. Find the silliness. Go out and garden if you don't know how to do any of these things. Open a book. Read some poetry. Turn on music that you like. Strip naked and point and laugh at yourself in the mirror. Whatever it's going to fucking take.
No.
Do something.
Don't do that last one. Don't do that last one.
Naked yoga. Hey, baby.
Don't do that.
Come on.
No.
Naked yoga outside. I guarantee that your neighbors will have something to say, and now you're connecting with other people.
These are great tips.
These are great tips. Outside. Do something outside.
We don't have sunshine here in Pennsylvania, but that's sunshine in your hole. That's a totally different episode.
We have sunshine here. It's been rainy, and now magically it is suddenly sunshiny. So, and I'll take it.
You better go enjoy it. Because right now it's rainy here for the next 4 days. Boo, hiss. Dear listener, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to wrap it up, flip it, rub it down, and tell you that you are part of the us, and we support you, and we want you to be happy, and we want you to be healthy, and we want you to be prosperous. We want all of these things for you, whether you agree with us on 100% of our theories or not. We want you to realize that you are us, and the they is a ugly little graphic virus, and we're all in this together. And if you start singing from that stupid fucking show, I'll kill you.
I'm not going to sing. I'm going to say the thing that everybody knows, but it's nice to hear it, because sometimes when you hear it from somebody else, you just remember it more, or you feel like you've got the authority to actually listen to it. And that is, we all automatically know and get what it means to be sad. This is a time when it's okay to be sad, and everybody nobody is going to be frustrated or upset if you are sad and feeling sad. That makes a whole lot of sense. What you don't often hear is it is okay to be happy. It is okay, and you deserve it to laugh. It is okay, and you deserve it to find joy and to hang on to it for as long as you can. It doesn't matter whatever you're grieving or however sad you feel like you're supposed to be or other people around you. You deserve to be happy as much as it makes understandable sense to not be happy right now. So
I hope you're listening to your own advice here. Ames.
I don't believe
I
it.
hope you are.
No, I don't believe it. I repeat it every single day. I've written it. I've written it on a marker. I've written it on the mirror. I've written it on the mirror.
You got to really absorb that too. You really
I'm
do.
trying. It's hard work, and I keep trying to do that work, and I'm not there. But I show up for this fucking thing. Trust me, gang. It's a big fucking ass deal to find a smile. No, you deserve it. You deserve happiness. You deserve to be happy. And when you're laughing, keep the fucking laughing going. And if it means that it's like doing sit-ups and you have to do one more fucking laugh. You can find it and you can do it.
Write us brilliant observations at gmail.com. Find us on the socials, Brillubs Pod Groupies on Facebook, or just Listen Brilliant on Instagram and Facebook. We would love to connect with you. We'd love to see what you think is funny, what's bringing you joy, what idiots you've found in the world. It's our favorite thing to do, mock other people and share in each other's joys. 2 favorite things to do. Thank you for listening. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.